wondering, given how obvious it is that you question categories and you question our assumptions about the way everything is defined or understood, what did you think when you received the invitation to participate in something that we were calling a feminist art field school?
You had me at, well, all of the words, but you had me at field school, because one of the things that I have been able to do that I feel very fortunate to have been able to do is to spend the last 18 to 20 years studying activist history. And I used to do a community radio show called Resistance on the Sound Dial, where I interviewed artists and activists. I did that show for 17 years and, got to engage with so many incredible folks, like artists like Octavia Butler, activists like Georgina Bayer, and artists like Ursula Rucker, like just really engage with artists and activists who were doing this kind of radical work. I just feel very thankful for the chance to have been able to sort of study and learn about activist history. There's this incredible poster series that comes out of Just Seeds, which is a printmaking collaborative and cooperative that's across Turtle Island. And they have sort of an activist poster series. And I have several of the ones that they have about the different field schools that sprung up in the 50s and the 60s and 70s as a way of teaching communities in particular ways, in ways that they weren't learning in the traditional school system, as a subversion. So the idea of a field school is very appealing to me as an activist, because I've seen the revolutionary potential of what a field school can do. And then when you bring in the idea of imbuing it with feminist politic and art, right? And art, and to be able to bring all of those things together feels very, very revolutionary, and I think that we're in a moment, when you asked me initially, we were in the beginning of the uprisings. The uprisings hadn't really begun yet of that summer that would fall a couple of months later. And very quickly, it became apparent that we were in a revolution, because revolution is not a one-time event, but a process. And we are in the middle of a revolutionary moment. So now is the moment for those principles of each one teach one, which grows out of Black revolutionary thought. Now is the moment for field schools. Now is the moment for feminist research. Now is the moment to dedicate ourselves to learning and knowledge together, because literally everything is at stake in this moment.
Thank you. Thinking about capturing and recording and remembering, I'm returning to a sentence that you offered early in our conversation about things being beautiful in order to be catalytic. And so I was wondering if you might reflect on the role of beauty in social movement building.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'll talk about is the activist portrait series that I've been drawing, because it was just this opportunity for me to show this outpouring of love to these activists, right? In that moment of reverie where they're, talking about love, or they're talking about change, and I get to draw them, as their beautiful whole selves, and part of why I do that is because there was the reaction to using a super realist approach and aesthetic, and capturing someone in the middle of a movement or in the middle of speech and drawing it at that large scale. I've experienced it creates a response in the viewer where they want to get to know the person better, which is fundamentally, if that could be a good outcome of this project, that would be such a wonderful outcome, that we want to care about these activists more, that we want to make sure that they survive, that we want to get to know them, we want to support them, that we want to engage with them, so using these drawings as a way of ensuring a connectivity and a support for these organizers seems really essential. And so doing it through beautiful drawings that kind of draw you in, and you're like, oh, come look for the drawing, and then stay for the activism, and like learn about this person and find out more about them and want to know. That's really a big thing. And I think that with, our activist aesthetics, the ways that, like, I'm so in love with banners, I'm just so in love with banners. I just think about them. They're such an underestimated tool of the revolution because, of course, we use them to set the stage. We use them to block traffic. We use them to literally hide people when the police come in so that people can kind of duck behind them and get away. We use them in all of these beautiful ways. And it's that moment where the artist has finished making the banner, they've dropped the banner off, or they've shown up in the morning with the banner, and we're setting up for the press conference, or we're setting up for the rally, and the banner gets unfurled, and everybody is just like, oh,